Welcome back, dear traders. You are watching a recap of the American session. Today, trading was rather volatile. Gold prices are declining rapidly, while safe haven assets are up. The US stock indexes have slid into the red zone once again, losing the early gains. As we predicted, Wall Street closed last Friday with the big gains. Three benchmark indexes rose significantly. The Dow climbed by 1.27%, whereas the Nasdaq added an impressive 2.09%. The S&P grew by 1.73%, trading at a high of 4,279. However, today the indexes have resumed a downward movement, losing approximately from 0.26 to 0.44%. The S&P 500 is moving in the range of 4,200 and 4,290 points. The S&P extended gains thanks to Friday's rally. It has been growing steadily since mid-July. At the same time, the economic calendar for Wall Street remained empty on Friday. Apparently, the risk appetite was high because of it. Last Friday, the US revealed fresh macro stats. Input prices fell by 1.4% in July, exceeding economists' forecast of a 1% decline. This was the biggest drop since April 2020. Export prices sank by 3.3% in July, topping analysts' expectations. A decrease in the prices was partly attributed to falling commodity prices. Today, US stock futures stumbled sharply, while oil prices plunged following downbeat data from China, which signaled a slowdown in the world's second-largest economy. China's industrial production rose by 3.8%, also missing expectations for a 4.6% growth and a drop from a 3.9% increase in June. Retail sales also declined. The youth jobless rate sank to the lowest level below 20%. In addition, the central bank unexpectedly lowered the interest rate by 2.75% from 3.7% to revive demand. Analysts assume this is a sign of a downswing, so the Chinese economy is now expected to expand by just 4% this year, below the official growth target of 5.5% and below the targets seen over the past 2 decades. It's hardly surprising that the stocks of many tech giants went down. Shares of Apple and Amazon fell by 0.5% and 0.6% at the close. Tesla, Microsoft and Meta stocks added approximately 0.5% and 1.8%. The shares of banks declined after 6 consecutive weeks of growth. ExxonMobil and Chevron stocks tumbled by 3.56% and 3.26% respectively, following a 5% drop in oil prices. This week, traders are anticipating new earnings reports. Walmart and Target are scheduled to reveal their quarterly results. The FOMC meeting minutes for July are due on Wednesday, along with the release of the US retail sales data. This report is likely to provide hints about the purchasing power and the state of the economy. Meanwhile, the US dollar index recovered today, snapping a losing streak. In the pre-market, it rose by 0.36%, trading at a high of 106.10. It's fluctuating in the range of 105.90 and 106.50. The US dollar index is likely to climb to the new highs this week, thanks to the hawkish speeches of several Fed policymakers. They assured market participants that the regulator was not going to switch to a dovish stance and take a pause in the monetary tightening. This week, other Fed officials are scheduled to deliver their speeches. On Wednesday, investors will digest the FOMC meeting minutes, and they are sure to give clues about the Fed's future plans on the monetary policy. As for fresh macro stats, the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index came as an unpleasant surprise. The New York Empire State Manufacturing Index sank to minus 31.3 points in August of 2022. The lowest reading since May of 2020 and the second largest monthly drop in the index on record. Business activity shrank significantly in New York State as new orders and shipments plunged. Unfilled orders also declined further. In addition, weak data from China, including disappointing figures on industrial production and retail sales, supported the US dollar. This, in turn, intensified fears about the global economic growth. Under the existing conditions, the US dollar advanced against all currencies. Today, majors have been actively losing value. The Australian dollar, the New Zealand dollar and the Canadian dollar are among those that showed the biggest decline. Thus, the Canadian dollar slumped by 1.21% to hit at 1.2927 against the greenback. During the day, the pair has been trading within the range of 1.2900 and 1.30. The Canadian dollar has every chance to return to the levels recorded in the middle of June, thus nullifying all the gains made during the recent several weeks. The price of the Canadian dollar was also affected by a tumble in oil prices. Just after the publication of the week Chinese reports, oil lost about 5%, and thus Brent crude dropped by 5.11% to $93.10 per barrel, while WTI futures slid by 5.21%. In other words, oil prices are approaching the low recorded in February. Meanwhile, Iran may increase its oil supplies as a state-owned company, IRNA, agreed to accept the offer from the European Union to resume the nuclear deal. In addition, on Sunday, Saudi Aramco president and CEO Amin Nasser stated that the company was ready to increase oil production to the highest level of 12 million barrels a day if Saudi Arabia's government ordered it to do so. Curiously, the company's quarterly income has already jumped by 90%. In the second quarter, Saudi Aramco earned $48.4 billion, which is almost as much as the five largest Western energy companies earned together. At the same time, Bitcoin showed a decline after failing to break $25,000. The asset started falling. BTC lost 0.76% to trade at $24,128. Bitcoin is likely to trade flat between the levels of $23,800 and $24,500. As for news from the crypto market, recently it became known that Acala Network also suffered a hacker attack. The information was confirmed on Acala's official Twitter account. We have identified the issue as a misconfiguration of the IBTC and ASD liquidity pool, which went live earlier today, that resulted in error minutes of a significant amount of AUSD. The post reads: the alleged hacker's wallet currently possesses about 1.267 billion USD. Meanwhile, Acala token declined by 7.5% within the day and by 18% just in 1 week. Now it's trading at $267. At the same time, meme coins such as Shiba Inu and Dogecoin are gaining in value. On Monday, SHIB was trading at 0.001569, which is 30% higher than last week, and during the same period Doge added 10.5%. And this is how our analysts see the beginning of the new trading week. We hope that our review will help you to choose the most profitable strategy. We wish you profitable trades, stay tuned, and see you tomorrow.